I'm here with Leah Herzwurm of Herzwurm Homes. Leah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. There's a lot to celebrate, both personally and professionally these days, and especially this year. How did we get here? I mean, talking about you getting to this place of influencer as awarded last night and mom to be. I mean, you've got a lot of things to be grateful for. How are things going?
Yes, so much to be grateful for. It has been a whirlwind of the last 6 years, truly. It was like last night was emotional. First of all, it was emotional for more than one reason because the picture they chose of me was my very first headshot. It was like, who is that girl? Who is that girl? But it was like, I don't know, it was a lot to think about. Oh my gosh, look what has happened over, you know, such a short period of time, really, in the grand scheme of things. But I have a lot of, you know, thanks to you for the growth, that I've seen over the years. So I appreciate you and your role that you've played.
Absolutely. And we'll get into that. Don't you worry. But I think it's important that some people know, you got into this career shortly after college. There were big changes
Yeah.
for you coming here.
We thrive in chaos. We really, really do. The crazy Herzworms. You don't know what to expect with us. I was a child bride, as my best friend likes to tell me. I'm from Augusta, Georgia, so things are a little different in the South. A lot of people have engagement rings by senior year of college. Totally normal. I learned when I moved here that is not normal. People were like, "What in the world?" My husband and I have been together since I was 15 and he was 16. So we dated for 7 years, got married. I literally graduated college on May 12th. We got married May 24th, went on a 1 week honeymoon, moved 8 hours away to Tampa, Florida, and started my first job the Monday after my honeymoon. So when we do things, we do things. Like, a lot of change is always happening. There's always a lot of chaos in our lives. But yeah, it was quite the whirlwind. I never envisioned our lives in Florida. Um, there's a saying like, you make plans and you hear God laughing. That was the case. I always pictured our life in Augusta or Atlanta, but um, God had different plans for us, and here we are. And I'm glad that He did.
So the last 6 years have had a lot of success, a lot of growth, and a lot of craziness, of course. And I think one of the things that, as a millennial, as a younger professional, sometimes there can be this feeling of, when do you earn it, or when have you arrived, that arrival of confidence, and that, like, you own what you do. I mean, can you speak to how that has creeped into your mind over the years? And
Oh yeah, it was a huge struggle. Like, I had imposter syndrome probably up until this last year or so. I feel like I've finally, gained that confidence. But, I always felt very undeserving, or, even though I worked hard for it, I don't know, I struggled with feeling like I was worthy of success. And, I was very self-conscious about my age. There were many people who were very supportive, of, you got this, you can do it. But there was also, those people who are like, oh, you're so young, and so I definitely let that creep in over the years. But now I'm proud of, my age and what I've been able to accomplish. I'm 28 and have lived a lot of life and done a lot of things, that I am very proud of. But it was definitely hard to get to this point.
well, and so what advice do you give to someone who might be in that place? They're in their mid 20s. Quite frankly, they could be in their mid 30s and still not feeling like necessarily they can own that space. What advice do you give to that person that's feeling that way?
Just push those thoughts out. You are worthy and you are capable, and age is just nothing but a number. It truly is. And I think people are going to, they're going to look at how you show up. And there's plenty of clients who are shocked when they find out how old that I am. Hopefully not that I look old. I haven't been able to get Botox since being pregnant, so I don't know. This business definitely have some gray hairs. But I think it's all about how you show up. And if you show up as a professional and, prove your value, it doesn't matter how old that you are. Because trust me, I work with a lot of 50, 60-year-olds that don't do as good of a job as plenty of people in their 20s that I know.
Well, I think that that's a testament. Many of the people that you work with become absolute raving fans of you and your brand. Again, you were celebrated last night as Influencer of the Year here locally amongst your peers. And so having other agents recognize the level of hard work and things that you do, why do you think that the relationships and the way that you put emphasis on your clients, how has that shown in terms of your return on investment over the years?
Tenfold. Tenfold. But not even professionally. I mean, yes, professionally, financially, obviously, but even more personally. As I mentioned, we moved here and didn't know anyone. Brant, it was just me and Brant. Brant and I, to be proper, and the pups. I didn't know anyone, and I am such a people person and love being, surrounded by family and friends. And, I went to a school where basically it was the same people from 5th grade to 12th grade. They were like family. I got very involved in college. And so I've always, been used to having a huge sphere of influence, is the lingo in this business, right? And it was like I moved here and I didn't have that and really had to create that. And this business has allowed me to do that. And honestly, my clients, some of them have become our family here, or even other agents in the industry have become like family to us here, and really good friends. And so I think that is one thing that I am so eternally grateful for, are those relationships on a personal scale. And I think that if you show people that you care, um, that's what they want. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. It's a cheesy saying, but it's so true. And I do think my personality is very mama bear. I, empathize with people and probably sometimes to a fault. I care too much. But in a way, I think that is, why I've been successful is because people can really feel that, and we don't go away after the sale. Like, I want to know what's going on in your life. We try and celebrate people's wins, and stay in touch and congratulate them on engagements and promotions and weddings and babies, but also, show up for them when things get tough. This business isn't all rainbows and butterflies. A lot of times you're dealing with death, you're dealing with divorce. So really just showing up for your people.
I love that. And it's absolutely apparent in the people who work with you, agents on the other side of the deal, of course, clients. And you kind of talked about that mama bear thing. So talking about the fact that we are expecting Graham and we're so excited for Graham. Yeah, I remember when you and I were strategizing about a fear of letting the world know that you were pregnant, and would that undermine all the hard work that you've done? So speak to that. I think a lot of women maybe that are going through the same thing would love to know how you've overcome that and handled that as well.
I told myself I wasn't going to cry, but I should get a pass because I am pregnant. So
You can.
I should get a pass. Yeah, I was terrified, honestly. Like, there was a huge part of me that was so excited and, wanted to share with the world. This is something that we've wanted for so long, and didn't know that we would have, there's a lot of really hard years to get to this point. And it was weird. Like, when I finally was pregnant, I was so excited, but there was that other piece that we talked about where I'm like, I'm scared. Are people not going to want to work with me anymore? Are they going to think, oh, she's going to be out to lunch because she's going to be preoccupied with all of this stuff? And I really was terrified of that. And, being almost in my 3rd trimester, I can't believe like the outpouring of love and referrals and support. This has been my best year yet, in my 1st trimester, which you're exhausted, you're sick, all the things. and obviously people don't really know you're pregnant the first trimester other than your close friends and family. I sold 26 homes in my first trimester, and moved companies, like moved brokerages. Like there's a lot. I told you, when we do things big. A lot of changes all at once. But within the last, month or so, I took my biggest listing at 1.7. You know, this week actually, I signed a listing at $4 million. Yeah, just yesterday. So that is something I never thought, and they're very well aware that I'm pregnant, and so my fears have definitely been alleviated, and it's like, I don't know why I had that mentality, right? Because real estate shouldn't be different than any other corporate job. Like people's lives don't stop just because you have a family, I do think you have to be a little bit more prepared and structured and have, strategies and processes and a team in place, because we don't have the luxury of being in that corporate lifestyle where you're going to get 3 months off, paid maternity leave. There isn't that, so I do think it takes a little bit more planning. And I don't think I would have felt the same had we gotten pregnant, 3.5 years ago when, we started this journey. And so again, like God has bigger and better plans for us than we could ever know. So while I wouldn't wish that journey on anyone, I feel like I have a better understanding now of why we went through that, because I am in such a better place, and have built a team that I trust of like-minded women, who share the same values and work ethic, that I know is going to take care of our customers. So I've been really, really blown away. And again, I know I have fears for when he's actually here, and hopefully I'll be proven wrong again, and just make it work. But yeah, it's been really, really, really cool to see that work hasn't slowed down. If anything, it has revved up, which, I've always been busy. So how can it get busier, right? But no, eternally grateful for clients who continue to support our team, support me, send us referrals, use us again. It's definitely never taken for granted at all. But we stay in touch, right? Like we just talked about, and you've helped me implement so many of those strategies of staying in touch with your past clients. And so just this past week, I had 3 different past clients reach out about listing their property, and I want to touch on this because maybe I should talk about this a little bit more. I had a past client call me and, hey, it's so-and-so. I'm like, of course I know who you are. Hey, how are you? It's like, oh, I didn't know if you would remember us. Of course I do. He's like, well, we get your postcards. We see you on social media. My wife said, don't call her. She's not going to want to sell our house. She's selling $1 million homes. And I was like, my heart literally dropped. And I was like, no. I'm like, your call right now means more to me than a $2 million stranger off the street, because it's your loyalty. Like, I don't ever want someone to feel that way, right? And I think that's how I started my business. I never want to lose that. I do think there's so many agents, who get into this business and you work your way up the ladder and it's like, oh, I'm not working that. I don't ever want to get to that point. I want someone to have a luxury experience at any price point, and feel, the same level of care and respect. It doesn't matter what you have in your bank account. So I squashed that real quick. I want to make that very clear.
Well, and I think it's very important, again, going back to those relationships and things that you have made an integral part of your business, and you've made sure that the team also mirrors that. I do want to take a moment and talk about the fact that you and I have been friends for many years. And there was still a moment in which you had to make a decision for yourself and your business of going, we've been friends, but do I get into a business relationship with you as a coach? So I would love for people to maybe know a little bit about that experience, and what has it been like since you and I have been coaching?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, yeah, I was scared. Totally. It's a big investment. I know that you're gonna hold me accountable, Um, but I did my due diligence as I do. I talked to other people who I trust who had been coaching with you. I saw the success and the growth, of other agents that I've known for years that coached with you. We had multiple conversations, and I already knew how amazing you were. I mean, hello, you were one of the top 10 productivity coaches in the nation. Like, there's something to be said for that. You know what you're doing. And you helped me so much over the years, when I wasn't a paid agent. I remember you helped me with my very first listing appointment in Snell Isle. It was like, gosh, that house would probably be what, over 2 million now, but at the time it was like 700. And I was freaking out. We were on Realtor Property Resource. You were showing me how to pull the comps, and I think it helped because I did have so many years of trust already built in with you. But then again, had seen the success of others, and I knew that I needed a coach. It was just finally making that decision, making that call, and just sucking it up and doing it. And it's been amazing. And I think it's helped me be a better leader to my team, and it's like I'm able to kind of take a lot of the questions that you ask me, and a lot of tactics and strategies, that we discuss, and take those back to the girls on my team. So I think not only has it helped me, be a better agent, but also be a better team leader. And we all need to be held accountable, right? We
Absolutely.
do.
So, looking at the future includes Graham, it includes the members of your team, it includes continuation of the success of the brand that you've built. And just as you said, you kind of reflect on a lot of the emotions from last night in the culmination of all of this. So, I guess my question is, what are you most proud of that you have built over the last 6 years?
I think I'm most proud of the experiences that I've been able to provide to my family. It's just this career has given me so many opportunities, that I've been able to bless others with, bless our life with. I think that's what I'm most proud of, because I feel, we've built a beautiful life that I never knew was possible.
Well, I know how proud you are, and we're proud of you, even though, like you said, sometimes it's difficult to know that. But truly, the last 6 years of watching you move from an individual to building a team to trusting a team, that you're able to go on maternity leave, and something that you and I have spoken about is that every mom told you to be able to take more time. And so building that infrastructure now that you're really going to be able to enjoy that time with Graham, and know that your business is going to succeed has a lot to do with the talent you've surrounded yourself with and the clients that you have. So I love you. Many of the people in this room love you, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.